Welcome, my name is Matt, aka Road88. We're getting into Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes mods. Lando Calirissian. Lando Calirissian can be seen in the TV series Rebels, The Emperor Strikes Back, Return of the Jedi, Shadows of the Empire, and all the way from The Glove of Darth Vader, all the way to the New Jedi Order book series. He doesn't show up in every single book, but he does show up quite a bit. Had Disney actually followed the books correctly from the George Lucas era of Star Wars, he could have very well been in the sequel trilogy following George Lucas's Star Wars. He did show up in the Disney sequel trilogy, but I don't consider the sequel trilogy as Star Wars. I consider that as something else. But given what was in the George Lucas era of books and the stories and all the stories that were ever put in place first, he could have very well been in a sequel trilogy for Star Wars. He did originally own the Millennium Falcon before Han. He lost the Millennium Falcon in a gambling against Han and the game of Sabak. This, in the movie Solo, okay, yeah, you lost him in Solo too, also, obviously, which would make sense. As I pointed out, when it's come to the pre-A New Hope Star Wars movies, Disney has done a much better job with that. Because if you were to follow books like Revenge is Over the Hutt, or Over the Hutt's Revenge, and various other books where you can actually get backstories on Lando himself. Yeah, I was getting turned around that title. It's Zorba the Hutt's Revenge. But, where you can actually get backstories on Lando himself. The whole interaction between him and Han, as well as his Kessel Run, and so like that, those are all actual backstories. That you get from starting from like A New Hope, kind of scattered throughout several books, going way past post Return of the Jedi, and they're always backstories, and it's always like little slivers that you get. The only thing about Solo that was not accurate was the fan claim that was Aurora Singh that was being killed by Trident Bosk, because she saves Boba Fett out of the Sarlacc pit in the Bounty Hunter Wars book trilogy. Another one of Disney's epic screw-ups that never should have been Book of Boba Fett, but actually should have been this in place. The Bounty Hunter Wars, in his book 1, The Mandalorian Armor, where Aurora Singh and Dengar go check the wreckage, because she has a house out in the Dune Sea. They saw the smokes from the Jabba sail barge exploding. When they went to go check it out, they saw Boba trying to get out of the Sarlacc. The Sarlacc was already kind of choking on Boba's armor. But they helped pull him out. So there's no way Trident Bosk was killing Aurora Singh in his office. That would be very Disney. The L3 was very Disney. But I wouldn't rule out Lando having a robot. I mean, I kind of like that idea, to be honest. But it's just not something you hear about or ever see in the books anywhere. The Crimson Dawn is very Disney, and Kira is nowhere in any backstories of Han Solo's history. Nowhere. She was a whole. I mean, she's another character that, to my knowledge, was never in existence. That was very Disney. Everything else about the Solo movie was actually very accurate, though, in terms of the backstories that you can read. With that said, we're going to get into Lando Calirissian's mods. He's an attacker character, so if you go to my first video in my mods playlist, I do break down each of the different types of characters and each of the different types of mods by definition, and I explain what it is we are doing when we apply certain mods to certain characters. Um, there is, so if you go to the online website also, swgoh.gg, it recommends modding Lando Calirissian with critical damage and critical chance, the same as what we're seeing here in the in-game tips. He's an attacker. So when you're doing critical chance is, well, chance is a gambling word, okay? You add the word critical. You're increasing his statistical odds that when he makes a hit, he's gonna actually hit his mark. Critical damage. Damage. Obviously, well, an attacker's gonna do damage. Critical means he's gonna really do damage. You're basically giving him the cross-training ability to be able to punch like a tank-like character. Of course, he's an attacker, so he's gonna be quicker on his feet. Whereas a tank character, they're usually a little more weighed down. They have a little more weight about them or something heavy about them that it's just naturally makes them slow because of the purpose of what a tank is. And again, you can refer back to my video at the beginning of my mods playlist. I explain what each of these types of characters, and I know tank, the word tank can be easily misinterpreted. I use the dictionary when I define these words. So, to help kind of get that breakdown and understanding a little more efficiently. So, Lando Calirissian is an attacker, and with the critical damage, critical chance, you're basically modding him with the cross-training ability to be able to attack with a tank-like punch, is basically what you're doing. So, that is Lando Calirissian. Mods for Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes. Subscribe to the channel, like the videos, comments, questions, suggestions down below, and thank you for following. May the Force be with you.